Good evening, everybody. This is Saliym Cooper again, founder of Brevity Bookspace, coming at you with this week's Text Exchange Tuesday. Yes, I am wearing my favorite hoodie that happens to look like I should be going to Mars. Also, I do look like a baked potato. Also, this is not exercise gear. It's just fly outfit gear, in case you were wondering. Happy March. Today, I will be sharing a piece from Giving a Fig by Dilruba Tayfun, who is a very, very dear friend of mine. She is a Amsterdam-based artist. I met her when I lived in London at the time. She is the Buford Delaney to my James Baldwin. She taught me about perspective and wandering and becoming one with the things that are in our orbit. She's working on a project right now entitled To Gather, where she's gathering particular found objects from around anywhere and making them into digital brushes that she can use to craft many things. It's so funny because she actually designed the cover of her work with found branches, twigs, fig branches, and even the text is written from the tips of those branches. So I think, yeah, she's obsessed with those things, but also she's just a resplendent, beautiful soul who is going to change the world with her imagination and with her love of nature and humanity and her level of giving. So I wanted to read you a passage from this book. There's a lot going on in the text with magical realism, explanation of the history of fig trees through their, religious history and undertones, comparing the roots of these things to the internet, and particularly how to save eco-life and bring it all back to its glorious center, which should be the object of our eyes, and we should not overuse it. We should nurture it. We should cherish it, and it should not be a secret. And speaking of that, I wanted to share with B, before I hand it over to her, my favorite passage of the work. It's the closing passage, and it reads a little something like this. D.H. Lawrence, a poet who shared my fixation to figs, conceived of them in an unfruitful and unhealthy way in his poem, Figs. Now, I'm not going to read the poem because it's a lot, but I'm going to go on to what she has to say in response to his words, because he speaks about fig trees being female, womb-like, wet, all of these things, and how the female should be a secret. And this was her response to what he had to say. Let us not dwell on them as he did. This is not how it should be. Secrets rot and leave sour smells behind. This particular secret is too fruitful and essential to be left alone. We shouldn't have to decipher the incredible secrets that we can adapt with our collective healing only in coded scientific journals and writings. We need, for example, moving images for our ever-moving people today. We've already touched the forbidden fruit. We might as well take a really close look at it. Let us listen to the sap rising up within the trees in the spring and contemplate its links and nodes, what it touches. Ponder why it's mattered overwhelmingly sans borders. The wish here is to hold attention to what matters during times when we feel we are barely holding up, watching out for streams before we dive into the vast ocean. We need to recognize keystone species for humanity and the actions that directly heal that which is spiritually and physically wounded. The act of memory, it's both fleeting and substantial at the same time. It stops us and it moves us forward. We can't forget women. We can't forget nature. We can't forget the things that they birth. And I think this work it's a huge deal. It really, really is. And I think the major pillar of what she's saying is, remember what's important. Remember that. And also don't discount women, like, ever. But yes, here's to you, P.
Hello, Saliym. Thank you for giving me an awesome text to work with. I thank your friend Dilruba for writing so beautifully about the memory of nature, the power of the feminine, and the need to recognize the earth and our different species and our humanity. I particularly love the line, "The wish here is to hold attention to what matters during times when we feel we are barely holding up, watching out for streams before we dive into the vast oceans." This collective attention that I think we're being called to pay towards our environment is particularly relevant right now for me as I witness last year's fires all over Australia and California, the winter storms that took over the Midwest recently. And immediately I thought about Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream and of the fairy kingdom. Titania and Oberon are the fairy queen and king, and it is their balance of the feminine and the masculine energies, their celebration with their fairies of the earth that help keep it in balance. And when there is dissension amongst them, it creates an imbalance in our environment. Near the top of the play, we encounter Oberon and Titania facing off against each other. And they've had a history of resentment. They've had a history of love between them. But at this moment, there is a disagreement over a changeling boy, an adopted boy that Titania has taken in from one of her fairy cults. And Oberon wants to take the boy on adventures around the world, and Titania wants to keep him by her side. In addition to that, there are accusations flying between them about philandering that has happened outside of their relationship. But Titania is pleading to Oberon and saying, our fairies haven't been able to dance and do the rituals of celebrating the earth because of our brawling and our fighting. And that's actually changing up the seasons and making everything really confusing for not only our fairy kingdom, but for the mortals, for the humans that have to inhabit the earth, and they don't know what's going on. So here is this piece of text, and I hope you hear what I hear. These are the forgeries of jealousy, and never since the middle summer spring met we on hill and dale, forest or mead, by paved fountain or by rushy brook, or in the beached margent of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls, thou hast disturbed our sport. Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land have every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with hymn or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air, that rheumatic diseases do abound. And through this distemperature we see the seasons alter. The spring, the summer, the childing autumn, angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world, by their increase, now knows not which is which. And the same progeny of evil comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original. I love this now because I feel like this piece is a call to action for humans, for all of us. That we are the parents. We are responsible for taking care of this precious earth. And if we don't strike a balance with our behavior and our treatment of the gifts that nature gives us, we are going to destroy it. Anyway, I hope that this made sense as a response to the text that you brought to us, Saliym. I thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Delaware Shakespeare community and audience for sharing in this exchange with us. Ciao.